know what divine intervention is?
He needs divine intervention.
Divine intervention.
Divine intervention, my friend.
You know what I think?
Was that divine intervention?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Episode 1, Divine Intervention. You didn't expect to see us. I know you did not expect to see us, but guess what? We're here. The DSG boys. We have a new show. It's called Divine Intervention. We're talking all things sports. I know we're the Pods guys. We're San Diego guys through and through. We're going to continue to talk about San Diego sports. A lot of that coming up with San Diego State basketball, SDFC, Padres offseason. But there's a lot more to sports. And when you're a sports guy like Matt and Mike Devine, you want to talk ball. And that's why we're fucking here, baby. Divine Intervention, episode 1. Meezy, how we living, brother?
Living absolutely phenomenal. Excited to be back. Since our last pod, I think it was a couple weeks ago, I can't recall anything that happened over those 2 weeks.
Yeah, nothing of note has happened in the last 2 weeks, especially not the weekend of October, 10th.
Like Friday night 2 weeks ago, I don't think 2 Fridays ago, I don't really remember anything of meaning happening that night. If you ask me, I think I don't know.
It was the Liberty, the New York Liberty won their match. So that's
Sabrina Akanasu.
Yeah. Congratulations to the New York Liberty. As most people know, that's been the talk of the town. No other real information going on.
Yeah.
All right. Now that we got that out of the way, it sucks, but it's Yankees-Dodgers in the World Series. Starts Friday. All the Glaze Fest is going on. Ken Rosenthal's, taking it from both ways right now with the Yankees-Dodgers. It sucks. It sucks because I really don't like both those teams. Their fans, the Barstool fans of the Yankees are fucking insufferable. The Dodgers fans in our comments are almost as insufferable, if not more than insufferable. But they're good baseball teams, and they won. I saw some people saying I can't believe they paid all that money, and that's the point, bro. You want your team to pay. They won fair and square. They're in it. It sucks if you're if you're a fan of the 28 other teams, but that's fucking life, Mike. Aaron Judge versus Shohei Ohtani. Ipe is watching from San Quentin, but it should be a crazy matchup. What's your honest take? 1 as a Padres fan and 2 as a baseball fan on this World Series.
Yeah, I mean, first things first.
Great show.
I think it was. I think we got screwed. To be completely honest, we didn't lose. Fox was against us. The MLB was against us. They gave us dead balls. Now that we're besides that, both those Manny balls go out if we're playing the fucking Rockies. But that's besides the point. Now that I got that out of the way, I do want to say congratulations to the New York Yankees for making it to the World Series. Tim Hill, legendary Padre, Juan Soto. Even though we traded him, he's never a bad dude in San Diego.
Yeah, I never talk shit about San Diego.
Never talk shit about San Diego. I'm happy for him. Get your money. I hope, I guess now we have to hope that they win. Really what I said earlier today, I tweeted, and I really believe this. The spin zone for this World Series is that regardless of what happens and who wins, there's going to be one insufferable fan base of annoying people that you don't even want to ride like an Uber with, let alone sit at a bar with to watch the game. Just insufferable individuals. Somebody that comments today on our tweet saying, "Oh, there's no such thing as a Cali burrito. You're from LA, you fucking dumbass. What do you mean there's no such thing? You said rice in your burrito? You're from LA, you pussy. Wake up. Wake up." Like that's the type of people that we're either going to see them be sad or you see those memes? We clap for them and they notice us when we clap for them and say their name in the stands. Like you really think the roll call? The roll call? What are you? What are you? The roll call?
The roll call, bro. I mean, it's funny too because the Dodgers and Yankees are obviously the two biggest, probably the most known franchises in baseball, and LA, obviously New York, two of the biggest, cities in the world, let alone the United States. Fan bases are spread out through everywhere. And, it's just one of those things where you're like, dude, like for baseball for the media, it's great. But man, dude, I really don't want either of these fan bases to win, to be completely honest. Like, it's hard for me. It's hard for me to realize that. And it's the lesser of two evil for me, honestly, Mike. And hey, at least I don't interact with Yankees people on our Twitter all the time, bro. So as a selfish guy, fuck the Dodgers. I'm rooting for the Yanks strictly because I don't want them to win the World Series, and we're the reason. Because honestly, this would have been a Padres World Series if the Dodgers win. We would have beat the Mets.
I mean, I'll take so much solace in the fact that if they lose, we can drop the neither of us won anything this year.
That's a great.
Actually, we won the pennant. No one gives a fuck about the pennant, dude. You know how many pennants the Dodgers have? So many. You look at 2017, lost. 2018, lost in the World Series.
Yeah.
2016, lost in the World Series. They're 2019. These motherfuckers win pennants a dime a dozen, but they never.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't win in 2019, but I know what you mean.
Who'd they lose to?
Nationals, NLDS.
Oh, correct. Hey, listen, I'm in off-season mode. I'm in Cancun.
Off-season mode. Last thing on the Yankees-Dodgers World Series. It's MLB's wet dream and the average baseball fan's worst nightmare. That being said, I do think it's going to be a sick World Series, and I really do hope, because both fan bases, obviously, think they're the shit. So I really do hope it comes to a head. Like, I'm really hoping that there's some big, shit talking on social media. You got Ken Jeong in the second inning at the Dodgers games versus Spike Lee. Oh yeah, that's a good question for you, Mike. Which celebrity would you be the most pissed to see celebrate? I saw Rob Lowe was in the fucking clubhouse high-fiving all the Dodgers. Like, why? I know that motherfucker Rob Lowe can't name fucking 5 baseball players outside the Dodgers, bro. Who would be the celebrity you'd be most pissed is happy at winning between Yankees fans and Dodgers fans?
Ooh. The celebrity I'd be most pissed about seeing winning. I keep seeing Bateman. I actually like Jason Bateman.
I like Jason Bateman.
He's an LA guy. He's good in my book.
He's been a fan too. He's a real one.
Spike Lee's a vet. It's got to be Mario Lopez. It's got to be Mario Lopez.
Dude, you got that spot on.
That pussy with all my being. He hasn't had a hit since the 90s. All he's done is Access Hollywood. And host that fucking show. No one watches that show. Anybody can host it.
Actually, people do watch it, but it's only when you go to the hotel and you turn on the TV.
Yeah, it's the first fucking thing. They pay a heavy fee to fucking Hilton Hotel so that it shows up first when you turn on the screen. He is a useless celebrity. And the fact that he gets to sit third baseline and act like he's a fucking Dodgers fan, you are from Chula Vista, you fucking clown. Like, you are a clown. I cannot have that guy post a fucking picture of him in a fucking Dodgers hat. Like, it's insane.
It pisses me off too, man.
I shouldn't be that mad about a like D-list celebrity rooting for the Dodgers, but Mario Lopez grinds my gears to a new degree.
I just don't like you. I mean, dude, there's one thing about being, like, hey, like, we have friends from San Diego whose dads are Dodgers fans and all this shit. Mario Lopez, bro, like, you act like you're not from where you're from, and you act like you're just Mr. LA when your show was on in the 90s, bro. I'm fucking 28, dude. I don't remember watching your show. Like, that's how long it's been since Saved by the Bell was relevant. So I agree with you, man. That's another reason. Hey, Timmy Hill is the reason, and the 2 reasons why we want at the DSG the Yankees to win the World Series. Number 1, Tim Hill gets a ring. Number 2, Mario Lopez does not get to celebrate. So that's it on the World Series talk. We'll talk more about it in other episodes. Also, Meezy, next topic. It's an SD topic, my brother. Announced today, San Diego FC. You're about to get your footy on. San Diego FC's first game against the LA Galaxy on the road, February 22nd, and March 1st at home against St. Louis FC or St. Louis City. We're going to have to get to know some of these MLS teams. Obviously, we're not huge soccer guys. We're going to get into it more. What are your honest expectations about SDFC? Like, what are you looking to get out of? Are you going to go full hooligan first year? Are you going to kind of ease your way into it? I know we got Chucky Lozano, Mexican team legend. You got some two fucking randoms from like Norway or something on the team. So I'm excited to get to know the team a little bit. But what's your expansion team in San Diego? I think it's pretty cool.
I think it's exciting, man. I'm excited to get one of those scarves that everyone wears. I'm just gonna wear it around town without any reason behind it. But I'm excited, man. I don't know if I'm gonna be like the biggest, most tapped in at the start. But I'm definitely gonna get myself acquainted. Listen, Tuesday night or whatever, Wednesday night, they're playing a game. I'm gonna be watching. If you're telling me Saturday night they're playing like the Galaxy and it's a regular season game in like June, and I'm choosing between going to like the bars with my friends or watching SDFC versus LA Galaxy, maybe I'll ask the bar to turn it on, but I'm not going to sit home and watch it. Like, I'll be a fan. I like Chucky Lozano. I like that they had that Duran Ferree kid from
he's from SD, right?
He went to Del Norte, so I like that he's a local cat. But yeah,
dude, I think it's gonna be sick, bro. I think, the more professional sports in San Diego, the better. You know, MLS, especially with the World Cup happening in 2026, like we're going to get to know the MLS and a lot of these American players and a lot of the players in the MLS that go, I don't know shit about the MLS, bro. I know my guy, Tommy Thompson, shout out the San Jose Earthquakes. But other than him and Freddie Adu, I don't know shit about the MLS, and I'm excited to learn, man. I think that's a cool thing about, you know, getting a new sports team into the city is, you know, hey, it's something to do. If you're a sports guy or girl, like your friend to the DSG, hey, the more the merrier, bro. We got San Diego State basketball coming up, SDFC in February. Right when February starts, pitchers and catchers report. Hey, things are looking up, baby. I love it. SDFC, let's get a couple more players. Maybe one that, you know, the casuals will know. Maybe one that we played with in FIFA wouldn't be mine. I don't care if it's an old cat, but if it's a name I know, that'd be dope. I need to buy a jersey. But I'm excited, man. I think that will be dope. Yeah, brother. Let's go into some NFL, and then we'll end it with one last little thing. It's a quick episode today. It's our first one.
It's a little trial run. We're starting to, you know, dust off the 2-week hiatus with a little bit of new content. We were talking a lot of pods this year. It's easy. That's second nature for us. We're actually getting back to our roots. We used to do a podcast for those who didn't listen to us before, which is a lot of you.
Probably everyone.
We used to do a podcast where we were doing similar stuff to this. Did not catch on, but hopefully now, we start to pick it up a little bit. We had nobody watching.
Hey, that's when you know it's real, though. You know it's real when nobody's watching and you still do it for the love of the game, baby. Hey, that's like the 31-year-old catcher in AAA who's still playing for fucking ball. Hey, that's what we were doing. We caught a little steam with this SD content. And now we're gonna let it.
We had a Higgy season this year, and you know, now we're trying to parlay that into a little bit of Quan. So we got a lot of shit coming up, though. We got a lot of shit. We got SDFC. Hoops, bro. State Hoops is back in a couple weeks. Nice little scrimmage versus UCLA. Our boy BJ Davis, BJ the Ruler, 28 points, 6 for 7 from 3. I'm telling you, the one thing that everyone loves to do every single offseason when it comes to college basketball is discredit what San Diego State is going to do in the upcoming year. They picked us 5th to finish in the Mountain West. 5th. When in the fuck have they ever finished below like the top 3 in the Mountain West? Be fucking serious.
Bro, Brian Dutcher's a genius, dude. Brian Dutcher is a college basketball genius, bro. We go from Stevie Fish and him establishing SDSU as a legit program to now, I mean, bro, San Diego State year in and year out, bro. This isn't a team with fucking $5 million in NIL. They're just gamers, bro. They recruit the best type of dudes. Good basketball players, but hard workers, bro. You never hear it's not Georgia football where half the players have DUIs, bro. Like, bro, this is a good ass group of dudes who, you know, hey, man, I'm excited, bro. BJ Davis, obviously going off, hearing about that. I think he was like 8 for 9 for 3.
Birdman fly high, baby. Birdman gets paid.
You got Miles Bird.
Season. Reese Waters is coming back. But who are we? We're about to be Magooners all season. I'm about to be gooning every Tuesday and Saturday. I will be gooning. I will. You can put that on record. I will be gooning every Tuesday or Wednesday. And for sure on Saturday.
CBS Sports
I will
Network
be
is
gooning.
going to be the goon channel this year, bro.
Dude.
That's what I'm going to. Hey, CBS Sports Network at about 7:15 on your winter Tuesdays and Saturdays. We're about to be gooning, bro.
We're gonna be gooning hard.
I'm excited, bro. San Diego State basketball is gonna be sick. You got guys transfers like Wayne McKinney, Nick Boyd. If you're not locked in on the Tex hoops, we're gonna be talking a lot about it on Devine Intervention. So excited about that as well. Let's talk a little NFL football. I know we touched on the other footy with SDFC. Let's be real. Chargers left. We stopped being fans of the Chargers around 2020 when their Twitter account posted "Go Dodgers" with a picture of Derwin James during the NLDS. Some will call it soft. We don't give a fuck what you think, to be completely honest. So move on from that. We don't really ride. Hey, we don't rock with the Chargers anymore. They're playing right now against the Cardinals. They're 3-2. They're having a decent season. Good defense. Offense is a Jim Harbaugh offense where it makes it seem like Herbert forgot how to play quarterback, but in reality, that's just kind of how it goes. We're going to talk about other shit, though. Hey, this isn't a Chargers podcast. There's a lot of Chargers podcasts. You're not going to get Chargers talk here. We'll talk about them enough, just like any other team, but this isn't how we talk about SDFC, how we talk about the pods, how we talk about Aztecs basketball. We're going to talk about all NFL. And my question for you, Mike Devine, I think it's week 7, almost week 8. Currently, we don't have a team. Which team would you hate being a fan of the most if you were to say tomorrow you had to pick an NFL team to root for the next 10 to 15 years? What team would you hate the most to root for? There's one that I think is an obvious one, but I think there's a couple others that could be sleepers. And also in the comments too, if you're watching this, I want to hear what you guys have to think.
I think the obvious one is the Cleveland Browns. You don't want to be a fan of the Cleveland Browns right now. But I got a different one. And this might surprise some people, but I really don't think you want to be a New York Jets fan. I think it is a bad time to be a Jets fan. You have Rodgers. He's an egomaniac. His career is winding down. He goes out. He gets Devontae Adams traded to his team. He basically forces that trade. Head coach gone. Forces a trade for a top 10 receiver. They lose first game back when he shows up. I mean, genuinely speaking, the team is a dumpster fire. Aaron Rodgers just wants to sit back, do some ayahuasca, have a fucking trip, and then thinks that he can still come out there and throw for like 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. The game has passed you by, buddy. It's a different game. You don't want to be a Jets fan right now. And the issue with the Jets is that he's going to stick around for a little bit. So it's going to take a while to find your next franchise QB. So that's going to be the issue. So I do not want to be a Jets fan. If I could pick one team, they have fun skill players. Like their team as a whole isn't terrible. But with Rodgers at the helm, I just think they're doomed for success. Like doomed.
I got 2. It was between these 2. I think your pick was great, by the way. Right now, it is between the Tennessee Titans and the Carolina Panthers. I was thinking earlier today, the Carolina Panthers have the 2 sports that I wish San Diego had, and that's the NFL and the NBA. That being said, they have 2 of probably, if you were to say the top 60 of both leagues, 60 teams, they have probably 2 of the last teams I would pick, the Hornets and the Panthers. Those are terrible. Those are terrible organizations. With the Panthers, bro, you make that trade to Chicago, you go all in on Bryce Young, it completely fails. You're starting Andy Dalton. You're getting smacked with Andy Dalton. You have a head coach, Danny Kanellis, or whatever the fuck his name is, way in over his head. Your owner, too, you think, I mean, Dean Spanos is the worst. This motherfucker, the owner of the Panthers, all I hear is bad shit about this guy. There was a story about him. I don't know if you remember this. He walked into a restaurant when the restaurant made a joke about him, and he went and like cursed out the fucking manager of the restaurant for making fun. Everything about that franchise is just gross, bro. It's just gross. I actually sometimes on Sundays will go and look up Panthers Twitter accounts to see what they say. And there's almost nothing is worse. There's one thing to be a team that like chokes it, right? You're like, fuck, dude, we had them and we lost. The Panthers are hopeless. They go into every game. They're like, we're going to get our ass kicked. There's not even anything fun about it. Because it's one thing if you're like, hey, it's growing pains, right? It's going to take a little while with this team. No, we'll be all right. There's no growing pains. The growing pains would be with Bryce Young, but you don't even play him. So what the fuck do you do now? the outlook of it is, and you're not even in a good division. That's the worst part. It's crazy. So I would say Panthers won, and then the Titans, man, you whiffed on 2 picks. You whiffed on Malik Willis, and you whiffed on Will Levis. You let Vrabel go, and Vrabel's actually a good coach. And now you're fucked, dude. Now you're fucked. I always forget about the Tennessee Titans, and that's crazy. Like, they've been in the playoffs a decent amount lately, and I still forget about them as a team.
Yeah.
You don't have that relevance, right? And now it's looking like, hey, full rebuild mode. So I would say those are the 2 teams. The other team that everybody would probably pick right now is who we're going to talk about right now. And that's Deshaun Watson, man. Hey, yesterday, Deshaun Watson, he tore his ACL. He's out for the season. And when that happened, he got booed by his hometown fans. Mike Devine.
Booed as well as cheered that it happened.
Mike,
so it was a double whammy.
What do you think hurt Deshaun Watson more? Getting booed by your fans after getting hurt or actually getting hurt?
That's a really, really tough one, right? I think, I would have to lean on the side of the booing. Like,
yeah,
I don't think Deshaun Watson wants to play football anymore. Like, I think he's over playing football, but I think he has to go and collect the check. Like, I think he knows that the only way for him to make his contract is for him to show up. So then him tearing his Achilles,
out of guaranteed money,
the entire stadium cheering. It's got to be like, it's like what I would compare it to is like, imagine you get like your pants pulled down at lunch and everyone around you starts laughing. Like that's like the equivalent to me. Like you get embarrassed and then everyone around just starts laughing and pointing at you. You tear your Achilles, the entire stadium is laughing and pointing at you. And you know what, man? I think given what he's done in his past, like, people are entitled to feel that way. If you handicapped my favorite fucking team by being a sexual abuser, and you go out there and you tear your Achilles, I'd be like, all right, at least we got to.
Yeah, I don't know if I would necessarily clap, but I would not be mad.
I would not. Listen, I wouldn't wish it. I wouldn't wish it. I wouldn't necessarily celebrate it per se. But if you fuck my team over, and you're objectively a horrible human, why am I going to feel bad if something bad
I would never
happens?
feel bad.
I'm not asking for him to get seriously hurt or like his like life on the line. But if he gets injured, I'm not going to be there like, oh no, we lost Deshaun. No, I don't give a fuck.
He's a terrible dude and a terrible player. So in reality, I understand what the Browns fans were doing. That's got to be a crazy feeling, man. You're getting carted off, and the entire stadium at your home field is fucking cheering that you got hurt. Like you saw Deshaun cry. You're like, man, I can't even imagine what's going through that motherfucker's brains. And then the comments after the game by all the athletes and stuff. Cleveland's a shit show right now, bro. I was praying they beat the Yankees, but after that big Christmas homer, that's another thing that sucks, bro. You can have an incredible moment in baseball, like that Tatis homer for us, right, where we won. And then the next game, you're like, no one will remember that. Like, I'll remember the big Christmas, but they lost the series in 5 games.
What do you think about his team? Like, do you think that they actually believe what they're saying, or do you think that they just had to say that because they're his teammate?
I think the biggest issue, Mike, I think the number one issue, there's 2 things. Number one, the NFL should have never allowed this guy back playing. Like, he's a bad dude. He should have never been allowed back. Number 2, if you're Jameis Winston, who's also had a sexual assault charge against you, and this is your other fucking QB, I understand the teammate aspect of it. Do I think it's right? No, I do understand it. But the thing with Watson, it's the craziest thing ever. Because 5 years ago, Mike, if you were to tell me this would be Deshaun Watson's career arc, what? Dude, Deshaun Watson was one of the most beloved dudes in the league. He was beloved at Clemson. He was beloved with the Texans. The Texans had one of the best outlooks of any team in football. They're like, holy shit, dude. It's going to be Mahomes and Watson in the AFC for years to come. And then everything comes out, and you're like, whoa. And then somehow he's allowed back, and somehow the Browns, the Cleveland Browns, who had a good future, man, everything was coming up Cleveland. They're like, fuck you, Baker. I know you want to play here, and I know you got potential, but fuck you. We're going to trade the house for Deshaun and make him the highest paid or second highest paid quarterback in the league. And he's come to Cleveland and done nothing but suck. He sucked. He's been terrible. Terrible guy. The fan base are making these dude, I do not envy.
Dude,
I am so happy. I would much rather be in San Diego without a team than be a Cleveland Browns fan right now.
Listen to how crazy this dude's stat line progression is. In 2020, he threw for 4,800 yards, 33 touchdowns, and 7 picks with the 113 passer rating. Sexual assault charges come out, or sexual harassment charges come out in 2021. He misses the entire season. He hasn't thrown in the last 2 years. Obviously, he's played a limited amount of games, but he had a 79 passer rating, an 84 passer rating, and a 79 passer rating.
Bro, he's done. He's done. Even watching, he's
fell
not
off.
even confident anymore.
I mean, it's just crazy, like how that derailed him from being like an actual top 5 QB in the NFL to being unwatchable completely. And it wasn't even until now that he had an injury necessarily that like seriously set him back. So, I mean, listen, I think, you know, I'm not going to cheer for it. I'm not going to be sad about it. I think if you ask any Browns fan in Cleveland right now, especially after the way that Guardian season ended, they're probably like, get Deshaun out of here. I don't want to watch him anymore. Give me like, they don't want to watch DTR either. They don't want to watch Dorian Thompson Robinson. Let Jameis Cook. Jameis Cook or no, good.
Let Jameis cook some crab legs. All right. From Deshaun to another guy that we hate for different reasons. I genuinely think Nick Sirianni might be the biggest douchebag to ever play or coach in the National Football League. And I really don't think there's a close second. We have family in Philadelphia, Mike. Those fuckers hate Nick Sirianni. Everyone on ESPN hates Nick Sirianni. The Philadelphia media hates Nick Sirianni. Jalen Hurts hates Nick Sirianni. And there's a weird kind of respect I have for him, though, because I'm like, he's kind of buying into it a little bit. Hey, if there's one thing, if he would totally change his act, right? But he's such a fucking douche. And after they win these games, he still talks shit. He's such a douche that in a weird way, I'm kind of starting to like him a little bit, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, good for you. I hate the guy. Like, I hate him. Like
how much I hate him.
I'd agree with you. I think what he does really is he embodies Philly. Like, he embodies it. Like, he was a coach on the Bolts when Phillip was there, and you wouldn't even have known because it's like, all right, like he was like,
what, QB coach?
Yeah, something like that. And you're like, I mean, he was just another guy in the wheel. He goes to Philly and he just lets that Philly douchebag energy fly. Like, he is the worst. He is insufferable. He is like everything that you despise. He's literally like a WWE heel, bro.
Dude,
he's telling like
you, he's like the heel that it's
like when Shawn Michaels was walking down and then they threw like the drink and spit on him and he just like brushes it off. Like, he's that type of guy. He's that type of guy.
Him buying into the heel is actually electric, though. Like, when you're that much of a douche and you're that polarizing, and honestly, even your fan base hates you, and you're not even that good of a coach. The fact that instead of changing your personality, being like, I might lose my job, I need to get better, and I need to get some better PR, he doubles down. You gotta kind of love it, bro. He's such a fucking douchebag that it's somewhat redeeming. And so, low key, I'm not an Eagles fan, but I kind of am a Sirianni guy because he's such a fucking douche, bro. Like, it's honestly incredible how much of a douchebag he is. Like, every game I watch him on the sidelines, I'm like, when they lose, he's such a bitch. And then when they win, he's such a dick. I'm like, he's electric, bro.
Awesome. He's awesome. I think everyone will rejoice when he finally gets fired, but he is awesome for the time being. Like, he'd be a hilarious, like, college coach. It would be super fucking funny.
Yeah. Hey,
but yeah. What are we on to next now?
Well, we got a couple more football, and then we're going to call it on a last kind of honest take that I have for you. Question: 49ers lost yesterday to the Chiefs, who are their boogeyman. I was kind of going over some things earlier today. I think you posted in our group chat, and you're like, are the 49ers going to be the best team to never win the Super Bowl? They've had a bunch of close chances. They've been dominant for the last 6-7 years. I think they're the closest team to the 90s Bills that we'll see, because I don't think they're gonna get back there, man. I think Brock's gonna have to get paid soon. We've seen what happens when you pay a QB that might not be the guy. It doesn't go over well. I'm not saying Brock Purdy's ass, but I after watching him yesterday, I don't think he's necessarily a consensus top 10 QB in the league. Brandon Ayuk out for the season. Debo's kind of fat. George Kittle wants to be a WWE star. Juszczyk is more worried about his wife making jackets than scoring touchdowns. I don't know, dude. I think it kind of reminds me, not to always bring it back to the Padres, but you look at the Padres, right, and how we don't score for 24 innings, and we feel like, oh man, we choked that. Like, we had them. I can't even imagine what a Niners fan feels like, bro. Questionable calls, barely fucking losing to the Niners or to the Chiefs in 2020, and then last year, bro. Like, we were watching it with all our buddies in SF. That feeling of knowing, man, we were that close. You know how hard it is to get back there, man? And with the injuries they have now, they might be fucked, bro.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I think living in the Bay Area, living in San Francisco, the energy after that Super Bowl last year, where they lost in OT, like, it just felt like something in the city died a little bit that day. Like, the energy, it was the day the music died, and there was something about it, and it's showing this year. You have your diva wide receiver hold out for a contract. Obviously, very big bummer that he got hurt, but the season was just already kind of off the rails before it started. Like, in training camp, things were off.
Bro, their fucking number one, their first round pick got shot.
Yeah, that's actually
their first
point
round pick got shot in Union Square, where we pretty much work right next to there. He got shot. Bro, if that's not a bad sign for your season, I don't know what the fuck is,
like,
man.
It's like a black cat going onto the field.
It's crazy though. Like, dude, like, the energy, you're completely right, bro. Like, you can't have that many close calls before, like, you have to, that seeps into your brain a little bit where you're like, man, I think we might be cooked. I don't hate the Niners. I mean, living here, right, I have a bunch of friends that are Niners fans, but that team has a lot of question marks, man. I don't really know. Last two NFL related things, and then we're going to go on to the final take of the first episode of Divine Intervention. Like we said too, we're workshopping. We're going to come up with some segments and stuff, and also in the comments as well. If you could let us know what you like, what you don't like, that'd be huge. What week do you know your fantasy team is cooked during a normal fantasy football season? I have a couple takes on this. I'm curious to hear yours. I know in one of our leagues that we're in together, your team's crushing it. But I'm curious when you know this might not be the year, and then what do you do? Do you start making trades? Do you start dropping guys? Like how do you react to knowing your team's cooked?
Yeah, I mean, for reference to the people listening, my team is about to be 7-0 in me and Matt's league. I'm beating Matt right now.
Jaden Daniels got hurt. So
yeah, Jaden. So did Mike Evans, and Nico Collins is out. I mean, listen,
he scored a touchdown before that, but for sure.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. I think when your team is cooked if you have a season-ending injury for a pivotal player early. Like, somebody goes down early. In my opinion, you start to think, fuck, we're cooked. McCaffrey, if you drafted McCaffrey, your team's cooked. If you manage to get around a McCaffrey injury like this, your first pick, especially in a snake draft, not a free agent budget draft or whatever. If you manage to get around that and your team still wins, congratulations. You should
be in the NFL. You should be a GM.
You're a Hall of Famer. You're a fantasy football Hall of Famer. What about you, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great take. I would say around week 5 is kind of when all right, my team might be cooking or not. It's one thing to draft a guy, right? There's a couple that you're just like, man, like Calvin Ridley. There's a couple of these guys where you're like, what the fuck happened to this dude, bro? Like, Tyreek Hill had 1 or 2 targets yesterday. I'm like, bro, I know 2 is hurt, but come on, man. Like, what the fuck? And that's the thing I love about fantasy football is there's people who legitimately make 6 figures a year plus talking fantasy football all off season. This is the guy to draft. This is who I'm drafting. This is what I'm doing. No one knows shit, dude. No one. Patrick Mahomes is like You know, they're 6-0. He's been ass this year. Like, Jaden Daniels is a top QB. Like, no one knows shit about fantasy football. That's my deep cut. There's a couple go-to guys. I know he got hurt tonight, but always draft Mike Evans. That's a good one. There's a couple guys that you could trust. Derrick Henry's one of them. But dude, people who act like they know fucking fantasy football. Travis Etienne, all I heard all season, dude, he's gonna break out this year. He's gonna be fucking out. I draft that bum, dude. Tank Bigsby. That's not even a real name. That motherfucker's a running back one, bro. It pisses me off, but that's fantasy. And then last thing on NFL, Bill Belichick. He's like 75. He's thinking about getting married to a 24-year-old girl. That means someone 2 years younger than you, Mike. Bill Belichick.
Oof.
Hey, I'm never gonna hate on, you know, another man's grind, especially only if it's illegal, and this is somehow legal. Bro, Bill Belichick. Like what? Okay, imagine if dude, it's just imagine like a girl. Hey, Mies, imagine a girl we went to Cal Poly with hits us up. We're going to a wedding, and it's like, hey, I'm bringing it. Can I get a +1? We're like, yeah, sure, of course. And she shows up with fucking Bill Belichick, bro. Like unironically shows up with Bill Belichick. That's the crazy. What is like, you know, fucking Tom Brady, or what do these guys talk to him about? Hey, Bill, see, you're fucking about to marry a 24-year-old, bro.
Yeah.
He has Steve Belichick. Steve Belichick's like fucking like 40, dude. He's a UW DC, bro. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty gross, man. Like I don't know what goes through, like how bad. Go to college and get a job, or like what is going through this chick's mind when she's like, I gotta marry Belichick. Yeah, no, she is a supreme gold digger. But it's just like, how do you put yourself through? Like, from Bill Belichick's standpoint, I think, like, he's fucking 72. He's like, oh, I get to hook up with this super hot 25-year-old? Yeah, I'll do it. But from the chick's standpoint, you're like, how are you putting yourself through this? Like, how are you putting yourself through this? Like, what is the end game?
They met on a plane, bro.
You get married and you take half of Bill Belichick's money? Like, that's your end game? That is just an insane
She takes 3 of 6 rings.
You could dude, it's just like, it doesn't make sense. Like the amount of time it takes to build up a relationship, get married, get like whatever she wants will-wise in her name. And then Bill Belichick's 72. Hopefully Bill Belichick lives till he's like 100. Like Bill Belichick's a great coach. Hopefully he lives a long and happy life. That chick's going to be like 50-5 with a 100-year-old. Like, what is she doing? I don't get the long-term point of doing that. I've never understood it.
Bro, I
guess I get it. I guess I get it from the guy's standpoint, because they're creepy dudes and they're like, I don't want to hook up with a 70-year-old like my wife that I've been married to for 40 years. I want to hook up with a 22-year-old now. Like, that's just innately who these fucking guys are. But bro, imagine, I'm like, how are you doing this to yourself? I just don't get it. I just
her dad, bro. Imagine her dad and her mom.
Her dad's like younger. Her dad is younger.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Imagine her dad's like a huge, like fucking like Giants fan or something. Or like, dude, like imagine just like hypothetically, bro. How fucking insane is that? If you're like, hey, yo, she's going to her like older brother's wedding. And he's like, hey, can I get a +1? And he's in the party and fucking he's getting married to his like long-term girlfriend, and Bill Belichick's just sitting there. He's like, hey, we're brothers now. Like, that's crazy, dude.
That is insane,
like, it's insane. So Bill Belichick, man, I mean, you do you, brother, but that shit's insane. And then last thing to end our first episode of Divine Intervention, we're going to be doing segments right now. This is just an honest take, and it's a question. Mike Devine, is the Rizzler the most universally beloved internet celebrity we've ever seen?
I think it's a yes, and I don't even think it's remotely close. There's something about that little motherfucker that's just redeeming, man. Really, he is just he's a cute little ball of like meat. He's just a meatball. He's just a New Jersey meatball, just rolling around. He hits that face.
The wrist base is electric.
Listen, Rizzler is even when he was playing basketball at Madison Square Garden, he's got aura, bro. Even fucking Rizzler like even Amari Stoudemire was like, nah, this kid's the truth. Like Rizzler has aura, dude. There's something about the Rizzler, and you know what? Big Justice and Big AJ, you'll never have what he has, okay? As hard as you try, as many fucking double chunk chocolate cookies and as many chicken bakes as you want to eat, you will never have what the Rizzler has in the world. It means way more to us than you guys do. And keep going out there on a fucking indie match and spearing a guy and having Big AJ pin him. Rizzler is that guy. Rizzler will be at WrestleMania. Big AJ is going to be at the house show for AEW. That's the difference.
I love it, man. You're spitting facts. I love the Rizzler. When he hits the Riz face, it's special. I thought the Rizzler was going to take the Mets to the World Series.
Oh, me too.
They had the Rizzler, they had Hawk Tua, they had Grimace, but all the memes did not work out, unfortunately, for the Mets. Hey, man. I know I say amen a lot. I think I didn't say it as much this time.
Amen.
But Divine Intervention, episode 1's done. Let us know what you thought. We're going to be working it out. We're going to have guests on. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff. But, hey, DSG's on the rise. I hope you recognize it. And Mike Devine, any last words?
No, sir. Padres country. Let's ride.
All right. Later, everybody.